Can AI models be used as a therapeutic intervention or even a replacement for one-to-one therapy with a therapist? Now, that's a question that I've been getting asked a lot over the last few months, and I looked online as well, and a lot of people are asking that on social media platforms. Now, in this video, I'm going to go over my own personal opinion and look at the potential benefits that people can gain and the potential risks associated with using AI models as a therapeutic intervention. Let's now look at the potential benefits and the risks associated with using AI models as a replacement of therapy or therapeutic intervention. So firstly, let's look at the benefits. Now, I've been doing some research recently, mainly using Claude and ChatGPT. And I have to be honest, even though I've been doing therapy since 2008 professionally, I found it quite astonishing, to say the least, at the skills and capabilities and the reflective processing power it can come up with. Now, what I did is I've been typing in the information that I was going through in my past. So I had 2 alcohol addicted parents, I had a lot of domestic abuse, I was bullied a lot, and I was in a pretty dark place. And what I did is I typed in these models, what I was going through, to see what projections and predictions and questions it would ask me. And I have to be honest again, there were a lot of very searching questions. The content or information in these videos is for educational and informational purposes only. And the interesting thing was that sometimes I type in something about one part of my life, and these models would ask me a question about a totally different area of my life, which was exactly where I needed to go, but would never have realized that when I was actually going through it myself. What can happen here is these algorithms, or however they're put together, are pre-predicting what the human mind is creating and understanding and reflecting on. And that is absolutely phenomenal. So in relation to the benefits that people can get from using AI models, in that way, it is groundbreaking. And also other benefits that people can get is, for example, therapy or one-to-one therapy can sometimes come with a high cost. Now, the one thing I'm very vocal about is that there are a lot of people out there who are, don't get me wrong, there are amazing coaches and trainers and therapists out there, there really are, but there are a lot of people out there who cannot do the job, they've not overcome their own stuff, and they're using people's finance and time to work through their own things as claiming that they are a therapist, which in my opinion is a person who's calling themselves a therapist. In my opinion, I'm going to be honest, it's a disgusting attitude to have, because it is using people's vulnerabilities for another person to gain financial return. So the second benefit could be that if a person doesn't have the financial resources or the financial backing to be able to take therapy, and by the way, one-to-one therapy isn't something that you can just book 6 sessions and have a life-changing experience like some of these guru therapists are claiming. It will take time. The therapists themselves will have to build a blueprint of that person's world in their mind and then work from there, and that takes time. Also, the therapist and client need to build that trust again, which can take time. So the second benefit is it can be phenomenal if a person is struggling financially and cannot afford one-to-one therapy. And another amazing benefit of using AI models is that a person can access it, providing they've got the internet, 24 hours a day. So if a thought comes through and they just want to talk it out, they can go online and talk it out there and then. Now, obviously, there are different models. There's the free version, which I believe isn't as good as the paid version. So again, depending on if a person can afford the upgraded version, which might give them a different response. I haven't looked into that too much yet, but if you've got any perspectives of if you've used it, feel free to put them in the comments below, because I would love to hear more about that, because I'm putting more and more of this research together to help other people and make more videos on this. So if you have had that experience, put it in the comments below, because it can help me help other people through the experiences that you have had. So now we've looked at some of the benefits. Now let's take a look at some of the potential risks that people can have if they use AI models as therapeutic intervention or using it as a replacement for one-to-one therapy. One thing is that if people have social anxiety and they are finding themselves more and more reluctant to go out into the world and connect to other people, we can get sometimes caught up in this endless loop, this endless rabbit hole of digging deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And the one thing that I found with the AI models is that if you type something in, it will ask you more questions. And then you answer those questions and it will give you more questions. And it will give you more questions and more questions. Now, although that might sound really good, what can happen is a person may find themselves going down an endless rabbit hole of questions, not living their life, but by what's known as paralysis by analysis, which again is really good to reflect on life so you can move forward and into self-actualization. But if it comes at the cost of actually getting out there and living a life, then that can be incredibly costly. So that's one of the main risks. But another risk as well is that the AI models are machines and all they can do is use the information that you type in. Now, I mentioned before that sometimes when I've typed in information, it comes up with questions about other areas of life which I hadn't typed in, which again, I did find pretty surprising. But again, it's a predictable algorithm and it's a phenomenal predictable algorithm. However, the model can only go from what you have typed in. Now, I'm going to give you an example here of a lady that I was working with many years ago. When we were talking, we started the session, she was very upfront about an interaction that she had with her stepdad when she was 15 years old. Now, I'm going to go into details. I'm just going to say that because obviously it's a person's privacy here. So she had a very serious interaction with her stepdad when she was 15 years old. And we will be talking about that each and every week. And for myself as a therapist, and any therapist who knows what they're doing will pick up on this as well, is not just about what a person's saying. It's about what a person isn't saying. If you ask a certain question, do they generally go away from it or do they suddenly change subject? Is there a pupil dilation? Do they feel uncomfortable? Is there something that doesn't quite seem adding up? Does their voice drop? Does their voice go higher in pitch? And all of those are very important telltale signs that an AI model would never pick up on because it can't. It's just a machine. So although they are absolutely phenomenal, they do miss out a lot of what a person is saying because a person's body language and their tone of voice can have a huge impact on what they are actually communicating. Now, to go back to the lady, when she was talking about the interaction she had with her stepdad, which was very intense, by the way, and a lot of people would hear what happened with her and her stepdad and immediately focus on that. But for me, something just wasn't adding up. So I started to ask her about her mother. Now, when I asked her about her mother, her reaction was severe, to say the least. She actually started shouting at me and said, "What, is this interaction with my stepdad not something that we should be focusing on? Why are we focusing on my mother?" And she got very angry and upset. But it was the way she did it. But myself, as a therapist and wanting the best for that person, I continued to ask about her mother. And then within about 20 minutes, and she fought me all the way, then there were tears because what was actually going on behind the scenes in that interaction was it wasn't actually about her stepdad, even though what happened with her stepdad was tough, to say the least. Again, I'm not going to say what actually happened, but it was a very serious incident. But it was the fact that her mother wasn't supporting her, and her mother denied what happened with her and her stepdad. And for her, the loss of her mother's belief in her, and when she turned her back and believed her stepdad over her, was much more traumatic to her than what actually happened with her stepdad. But when she'd been talking to other people about it, about her stepdad, they got so caught up in what happened with her stepdad that they didn't see what was going on behind the scenes. And that is sometimes how the mind can protect itself. If it doesn't want to go into a very painful place, which for the lady, what happened with her mum was incredibly painful. So if you imagine the situation where the mum was a 10 and what happened with her stepdad was a 5, she didn't want to face the pain about her mum, so she focused all the attention on her stepdad. And again, no AI model is ever going to be able to pick up on that. So in summary of this video, the answer, of my opinion, of can AI models be used as therapy or therapeutic intervention is a yes and a no. The yes, they can be incredibly intuitive and we can talk to them whenever we want, and it can give us a chance to just share our thoughts and get some feedback. And again, they can be incredibly intuitive from what I found anyway. And also, they can be a lot more beneficial than a lot of these guru therapists out there who clearly haven't done the work on themselves, yet they are claiming that they are the be-all and end-all to everybody's challenges and they can fix everybody. And that's one thing that I find is wonderful about AI models, and is going to level the playing field of all these guru therapists that clearly don't want to put in the work on themselves, but they want all the rewards of claiming that they are a professional therapist. But also the risks associated with using AI models as a therapeutic intervention could be that we could go on an endless rabbit hole of question after question after question and get into paralysis by analysis by keep going down and asking more and more questions and not actually get out there and live our lives, meaning that these AI models could be used as a mask to avoid the world. But also the thing is that they may not know the full extent of what you're communicating in and of that particular situation. Part of your mind might have blocked out a deeper trauma. So the very thing that you're talking about, the AI model will be doing its best to answer those questions because all it's got to go on is what you're typing in. And like, for example, with that lady, when she was completely focused on her stepdad and spoke nothing about her mum at all, the AI model would never have been able to pick up on that because it's a machine. Maybe in the future it might be able to, but from my perspective and what I've been testing it on recently, at this moment in time, it cannot do that job. It can be used as a benefit, but there are risks associated and you need to take those into account. So in this video, I've gone over a few examples of the benefits and the risks, but it's for you to get your journal out and think about it yourself. Is there any part of you, if you're using AI models now, using it and finding yourself avoiding life by using this self-actualizing model, but you're getting into paralysis by analysis? Is it that it's drawing you off track? Or are you finding lots of benefits around talking to the AI models, and has it helped you move on? But keep in mind all the way through this, the AI models are only a tool in a toolbox, and they should be used as that, not as a one thing fixes everything. So I hope this video has helped shed light on the benefits and potential risks of can AI models be used as therapeutic interventions or replacement therapists. Yes, they can be used as support, but no, they cannot be used as a replacement of one-to-one therapy, providing that therapist can actually do the job and is not just somebody calling themselves a therapist who's not done the work but wants all the rewards. Again, you'll hear me say that a lot on these videos. So I hope this helped. Feel free to put your views in the comments below and look forward to seeing you in the next video.